Cassandra Peterson, long before she gained widespread fame for portraying the iconic character Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, gave voice to truths that surprised many. She appeared to embody strength and self-assurance, yet behind the glittering veil of fame lay a number of secrets that stunned even her most devoted fans. From a life-threatening mistake in her 20s to a romantic relationship with a woman that she kept concealed for almost 20 years, Cassandra's journey was anything but simple. This narrative delves into the real story of Cassandra Peterson, the remarkable woman behind the cult character Elvira. Her beginnings were unconventional and rough, and one of her earliest pursuits was go-go dancing, which she once jokingly called the next best thing. From a very early age, Cassandra faced obstacles on her path to stardom. Her appearance, striking and atypical, often excluded her from roles that others with more traditional looks easily landed. While many young girls daydreamed about fairy tales and happy endings, Cassandra was obsessed with the eerie and macabre. Her fascination with all things horror began at the age of 8 when a cousin brought her to see a terrifying film at a local theater, House on Haunted Hill. From that moment, she realized horror wasn't just a fleeting interest, it was her calling. But being different doesn't come without consequences. Her unusual interests made her an outsider among her peers, and she was frequently ridiculed and mocked for her love of monsters and ghosts. Her early years were shrouded not in the shadows of the supernatural, but in emotional isolation and childhood trauma. At just 17, driven by a desire to escape her small-town life, she fled to Las Vegas with dreams of becoming a dancer. Inspired by the glitz and allure of Elvis Presley's Viva Las Vegas, she immersed herself in a new and dazzling yet dangerous world, one that was rich with drag culture and unapologetic flamboyance. Within this new environment, Cassandra was introduced to drag queens and quickly became part of a bold and expressive circle of performers. From towering wigs to dramatic makeup and hypnotic dance routines, she soaked in everything that made these entertainers captivating. She learned how to become more than just a presence. She learned how to command a room. Yet, life on the edges of glamour wasn't always as enchanting as it seemed. In order to survive, Cassandra took on work as a go-go dancer, performing night after night in various clubs. There were times when all she had to live on were flickering neon lights, adrenaline, and sheer determination. And on more than one occasion, she found herself sleeping on the streets. Still, Cassandra always carried a spark of something unique, an essence that set her apart. She once joked that she didn't resemble anyone else, and truthfully, that was her greatest asset. Her fortunes shifted dramatically following an unexpected invitation that would change everything. An invite to a private gathering in Elvis Presley's hotel suite. At that gathering, Elvis looked directly at her and said something that would echo in her memory for years to come. He told her that Las Vegas wasn't where she was meant to be, that she was destined for something much greater. That brief but impactful statement lit a fire inside her, affirming that she was meant to seek out a bigger destiny. For the first time, Cassandra allowed herself to believe in the possibility of a real career in acting. Her first significant opportunity arrived in 1971, when she landed a small part as a stripper in the James Bond movie Diamonds Are Forever. Though it wasn't a starring role, it represented a meaningful beginning for her. The vibrant energy, the music, and the dynamic environment of an international film production completely mesmerized her. What she didn't realize at the time was that this single role would be the spark that ignited a succession of new possibilities in her professional journey. It was unexpected for someone like her, often overlooked and underestimated. But this minor part opened doors. In 1972, she made a bold move and relocated to Italy, where her artistic ambitions flourished further. During her time there, Cassandra became the frontwoman for two rock bands, Al Latini and the Snails. She infused her edgy, rebellious American essence into her performances, electrifying European audiences with her stage presence and attitude. That same year, she experienced a turning point when she crossed paths with iconic filmmaker Federico Fellini, who offered her a small role in his film Roma. This was Cassandra's first immersion into the realm of artistic cinema, and it awakened in her a profound appreciation for its expressive power. For the first time, she felt genuinely aligned with her purpose. Still, the road forward was far from smooth. By 1973, she was struggling to make ends meet and accepted work as a dancer at the Playboy Club in Miami. Later, she signed a modeling contract with Hugh Hefner's agency in an effort to continue chasing her dream. In pursuit of opportunities, she toured the country as part of a musical comedy. But amidst this period of hustle and survival, she suffered a deeply personal violation. A nude photo shoot, taken earlier in her career, was published in men's magazines without her approval. It left her emotionally scarred, a painful memory and a decision she would regret for many years to come. Her life was a whirlwind of chaos and unpredictability until she finally stepped into the character that would transform her world, Elvira. She was around 30 years old when this defining moment took shape. But rather than allow setbacks to crush her, she rose once again. In 1979, Cassandra became a member of the well-known improvisational troupe, the Groundlings. It was here that she breathed life into a wildly eccentric and magnetic character. A chatty, over-the-top valley girl decked out in outrageous fashion. This persona laid the foundation for what would eventually become the legendary figure known around the world as Elvira. And it was in that moment she knew, without a doubt, that she had discovered her true voice. Cassandra threw herself into the world of comedy with full force. She relocated to Los Angeles and began performing on every stage she could find, whether grand or humble. She showed up in commercials, participated in game shows, and accepted any minor part that allowed her to sharpen her comedic skills. Yet, no matter how tirelessly she worked, the fame she sought always seemed just beyond her grasp. As the rejections piled up, Cassandra began to question her path, and the idea of giving up began to loom large. Then, in 1981, fate unexpectedly intervened. At 30 years old, a point when many aspiring performers begin abandoning their Hollywood ambitions, Cassandra Peterson received a call that would change her life. A friend tipped her off about an audition for a local television program, seeking a new host for a late-night horror show. It was a role that merged the eerie world of horror with the sharp timing of comedy, aligning perfectly with Cassandra's unusual skill set and quirky personality. A stranger once commented that with Elvira, there was someone walking the streets who looked like no one else, and that uniqueness was her gift. The show drew inspiration from the legendary figure Vampira, and the station was searching for a contemporary replacement. Cassandra entered the audition with assurance, drawing on all the improvisational experience she'd developed at the Groundlings. She transformed a few simple lines into something remarkable and unforgettable. The casting team was instantly impressed. Not only did she win the role, but they entrusted her with full creative authority to mold the character's image and demeanor. Teaming up with her longtime friend and creative collaborator, Robert Redding, they set out to design a cultural icon. The sultry, figure-hugging black dress, both darkly alluring and playfully provocative, was crafted to both flatter Cassandra's form and conceal the physical scars of her past. The dramatic contrast of her black and white makeup drew inspiration from Japanese kabuki theater and girl groups of the 1960s, resulting in a look that burned itself into pop culture memory. Thus, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, made her television debut on September 26, 1981, with her trademark salutation, "Hello, darling," and her witty, cheeky hosting style. Cassandra breathed new life into the dwindling late-night horror program genre, Even the network didn't expect the show to run beyond a few broadcasts. Yet within just a handful of episodes, Elvira had become a national sensation. Cassandra soon appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and Elvira Halloween costumes began flying off the shelves all across the country. But with all great success, challenges were never far behind. From the earliest days of the show's broadcast, obstacles were constant. The program was nearly shut down when the original actress behind the Vampira persona, Mila Nurmi, openly objected and distanced herself from the production. She insisted that Cassandra lacked the talent and essence to take on such a legendary role. Cassandra once reflected on those chaotic times, saying life was completely out of control until she finally became Elvira. Only then did things start to settle. To prevent a legal crisis, the show's producers quickly changed the character's title from Vampira's daughter to Elvira, and they rewrote the entire script to avoid any direct similarities. Still, Normie wasn't ready to back down. She filed a lawsuit against Cassandra and the show's producers, accusing them of plagiarizing her look, style, and the very spirit of her creation. The legal confrontation dragged on for years. However, Cassandra eventually emerged victorious, as the court acknowledged that Elvira wasn't a mere imitation, but an original character forged from Cassandra's personal experiences, imagination, and creative energy. A major legal point in the ruling came when the judge declared that wearing a black dress and adopting a spooky pose wasn't something that could be protected under copyright law. Yet the battles didn't end in the courtroom. The television station grew uneasy about the show's growing influence and seriously considered removing Elvira from the lineup. A top executive even came to the set, requesting that Cassandra tone down her costume. She stood her ground, refusing to alter any part of her character's look. In an unexpected turn, no further objections were raised, and it appeared that the higher-ups either overlooked the issue or decided not to press it further. Fortunately, the network did not interfere again. Audiences were instantly captivated by Elvira. The character didn't just stand out because of her eccentric and captivating appearance. It was Cassandra's wit, presence, and magnetic personality that made her unforgettable. Elvira quickly rose to mainstream recognition. Cassandra found herself in high demand, receiving invitations for late-night talk shows, fan conventions, advertisements, comic books, and numerous other ventures. But Elvira's appeal didn't stop at one audience. The LGBTQ+ community especially embraced her. She became a beloved figure in gay nightclubs, championed HIV/AIDS awareness campaigns, and was even honored as a Grand Marshal at several Pride parades. Still, her popularity wasn't universally welcomed. Conservative critics, particularly from the Bible Belt, vehemently disapproved of her appearance on television. They labeled Elvira as overly sexual and objected to her connection with macabre themes. Yet even this wave of criticism couldn't derail Cassandra's momentum. In fact, when one television station attempted to censor an Elvira billboard by placing a black bar across it, the public backlash only grew stronger. Cassandra had become an uncontainable force, an icon that flipped expectations and thrived despite every attempt to silence her. Even with all the triumphs that marked her career, Cassandra was no stranger to adversity. One of the most profound struggles she faced was the devastating impact of the HIV/AIDS crisis, a tragedy that claimed the lives of numerous dear friends and professional associates. The grief only deepened with the passing of Robert Redding, her creative partner and dear companion, the man instrumental in crafting the signature look of Elvira. His death marked not just the loss of someone she loved, but also the end of a vital chapter in the evolution of the character they built together. Still, even under the weight of sorrow, Cassandra refused to give in. She remained resilient, continuing to champion the character of Elvira, refusing to relinquish control. During yearly contract renewals, she pressed for and secured greater authority over her creation. Over time, she managed to obtain full legal ownership of the Elvira persona, an incredibly smart move that ensured she was shielded from future legal disputes and financial fallout. That same decision later proved to be a saving grace when the television station that had aired her show was exposed for fraudulent activities and was subsequently stripped of its broadcasting license. Despite facing wave after wave of obstacles, Cassandra not only kept Elvira alive in the public consciousness, but also amplified her cultural relevance. While many actors in television struggled with the leap to film, Cassandra chose to chart her own course. Rather than limiting herself to small-screen appearances, she began focusing her efforts on bringing her character to the cinema in a full-length motion picture. It was a bold ambition that many might have dismissed, but Cassandra believed in her vision. After extended negotiations and unwavering dedication, her determination was rewarded when NBC executive Brandon Tartikoff agreed to back a sitcom centered on her iconic creation. While Elvira was already a hit, Cassandra recognized that the character had even greater potential. Her ambition went far beyond just television appearances. She was determined to create a feature film. After lengthy negotiations with Tartikoff and the studio, Cassandra's hard work paid off. In 1988, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, debuted globally, quickly becoming a beloved classic in the horror comedy genre. Yet, Cassandra's drive never waned. She kept pushing forward, exploring new avenues to expand her reach. That same year, she released a series of home videos, where Elvira herself hosted, which rapidly became popular with fans. Alongside these, she published her autobiography, Yours Cruelly, Elvira, Memoirs of the Mistress of the Dark, a revealing book that offered an intimate look into Cassandra's career, personal experiences, and the untold stories behind the character she had brought to life. But Cassandra's work with Elvira didn't stop there. After years of relentless effort, she made a sequel to Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, in 2000, titled Elvira's Haunted Hills. Despite having a modest budget and being filmed in Romania under less than ideal conditions, the film was embraced by fans, solidifying Elvira's continued popularity and the enduring appeal of the brand. Not content to rest on her laurels, Cassandra surprised audiences once again by returning to television in 2010 with a new series where she portrayed Elvira in public domain films. Cassandra was not merely focused on Elvira. She also ventured into other film roles, showcasing her versatility. She had a memorable appearance in Pee-wee's Big Adventure and starred in the horror comedy All About Evil. Her talents also extended into the future, as she appeared in Rob Zombie's upcoming film The Monsters, demonstrating that her career was much more than just one iconic character. Cassandra's ability to evolve and adapt to various roles has solidified her status as a fixture in the entertainment industry. With her fearless and ambitious spirit, Cassandra Peterson has not only built a lasting career, but also transformed Elvira into a timeless pop culture icon. She continues to develop new projects, including a sequel to Mistress of the Dark and an animated film exploring Elvira's origins. Every Halloween, as well as in other bold initiatives, Cassandra keeps pushing the boundaries of her creativity. Looking back at her extraordinary journey, it's clear that she's more than just a silver screen star. She's a pioneering creator who has captivated millions of fans across the globe. We eagerly await Elvira's next adventure, and where it will take both her and her ever-growing audience. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other videos featuring stunning figures from yesteryear on the end screen.